Today in crypto, Bitcoin has a bullish breakout crushing $11,000. Also, after the purchase of Bitcoin by Square, now nearly 3% of all Bitcoin is in the hands of about a dozen companies, which is crazy. Ethereum scaling and DeFi news for you as well. And also, of course, the stimulus talks in the USA. They were on again and then they were off again. There's a lot of uncertainty right now in the markets around what's going to happen with the stimulus. Will they come in to pump the markets again? Probably, but the question is when. My name is Lark, and this is where you subscribe for all of the hottest and all of the latest happening out here in the wild land of crypto. Also, a quick note before we begin, issue number 15 of Wealth Mastery will be hitting inboxes 8 p.m. Wednesday Eastern time this week. This issue, I will be discussing tips for keeping your fees down, as well as some interesting small caps to watch out for, as well as the hottest upcoming token sales. Jesse has a report on Rocket Pool, the crypto that's going to be a massive player when Ethereum 2.0 launches. Forrest breaks down the different kinds of wrapped Bitcoin and the different security parameters and the pros and cons of them. The team from P Network joins us to discuss their cross-chain tokens that are tokenized not just Bitcoin, but also Litecoin and on different chains as well. Very, very interesting stuff. All of that and much, much more for less than $10 a week. So don't miss out on another value-packed investor report. Let me and my team save your time and help keep you ahead of the curve in this fast-moving market. Click on the link down below in the description to become a member today. So let's start off our conversation by talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has had its big breakout moment. Very exciting to see us back over $11,000. We have now broken out of that symmetrical triangle we've been watching here for the last few weeks. We've broken out to the upside, showing once again the strength of the market right now. And while this breakout is indeed nice, I would really have liked to have seen stronger volume pushing this move. You can see here that the volume really didn't go crazy, so there's that to kind of keep in mind. In fact, we have not really seen any significant volume spike in the last few weeks on any of the moves from Bitcoin, so you know, it doesn't signal a lot of strong conviction from the market. But still, it's good to see us breaking out from that triangle. On this run, we also had two very solid bull flags on the way up. A third may be forming right now, although it is looking a bit shakier than the previous two bull flags that we had for Bitcoin on the 4-hour charts. Also, the 4-hour RSI is showing that Bitcoin is overbought, especially when it peaked around $11,500. So we may now be up for a bit of a cool down phase before the next big move comes in for Bitcoin. That would be fine, normal, healthy, nothing to worry about there. Please keep in mind too that while all of this is very, very thrilling to watch, we have to remember there is still a lot of macroeconomic uncertainty that could bring some serious impact to the market in the coming weeks. Everything from the stimulus or the lack thereof of the stimulus to the elections, to the coronavirus, all that stuff. Now look, none of that changes the big picture, but it's worth keeping in mind as we do sort of navigate the stormy weather in the markets over the next few weeks. There's a lot that could happen. Bitcoin might be having a breakaway moment here, but that strong correlation to the stock markets does remain. Now our next target for Bitcoin to the upside, $12,500. That was our most recent top back in mid-August. Then, of course, after that, $13,800, which is the top from June 2019. This is the second line of resistance on the chart here, and it's especially important since it would represent the highest price Bitcoin has seen in over 2 years. I think if the markets keep moving like this, we will see that by the end of the year. Now, our lines of critical support remain $10,500 and $10,000. If we lose $10,000, that could be bad news bears in the short term for Bitcoin. But the market, I think, is still looking very, very bullish. Obviously, this run-up is a great thing to see. Looking at the weekly as well, we can see that back in July, Bitcoin had a strong breakout from a very long downtrend. Since then, we've come back down to retest that line of resistance, flipping it into support, and now we are heading higher. Now, at a technical level, this is a very, very strong move for Bitcoin. And right now, Bitcoin is likely, of course, to start feeling the effects of increasing market scarcity, which just adds to the fuel that the price is going to go higher. The amount of Bitcoin on exchanges, it's falling daily. We haven't seen this happen for a long time. What happens when a scarce asset sees a rising demand and a falling supply? The price moons, that's what happens. By the way, I know that Square entering Bitcoin with their $50 million purchase, that was a big deal. It absolutely was. But here's a list of all publicly traded companies currently holding Bitcoin. So in total, there's around a dozen companies which together own around 3% of the total supply of Bitcoin. Now, some of these companies like Riot Blockchain, for example, they're mining. So they're a mining company. So yeah, of course, they're going to be holding some Bitcoin because that's their business. They're a Bitcoin mining business. Others are investment funds like Galaxy Digital. That's their thing. They're a crypto investment firm. So of course they have Bitcoin. Or of course, Grayscale Trust, which is the biggest owner of Bitcoin out there. And of course, the reason they have so much Bitcoin is that's what they do. They get Bitcoin and stockify it, right? And of course, MicroStrategy and Square, they're so exceptional because they're the first two non-crypto related companies to buy Bitcoin as a strategic reserve to diversify their cash holdings. So that's something to keep in mind. It is worth noting too that we're going to see a lot of Bitcoin move into the hands of big corporations in the coming years. And it's kind of a double-edged sword because it means that, they're big money corporation players. They're all going to be stockpiling up on Bitcoin, which means less for little people. But, right now is the chance you have. You don't have to look back in 5 years and say, if only I'd bought Bitcoin before Microsoft did. Well, today's your chance to do that. So don't miss that opportunity, guys. Also, with the big Bitcoin move this weekend, altcoins are finally seeing some relief, which is very, very cool. Lots of altcoins, they're still in that zone where they're up 20% this weekend. It's so amazing, but they're still down 75% from their all-time highs. So that's fun. But in all seriousness, get ready for the next round of fun, guys. It's going to come. Altcoins, they're going to go absolutely insane again. If you think that this was the only time it's going to happen, no. It's going to be... We're going to see bigger highs than 2017 coming. It's going to be nuts. This will be a multi-trillion-dollar market. And in that situation, altcoins are going to moon hard. What we experienced in August, that was just like an early test pump. So be ready for the next wave. Next up, I have some Ethereum scaling news for you. So Matter Labs has just launched the ZK Synca Layer 2 Smart Contracts Testnet. And the first application to get on board is Curve. So that's the popular DeFi app that allows for really super low slippage stablecoin swaps. So you can basically get 1-for-1 for stablecoins. So they're using ZK rollup technology, which allows for transactions to be batched together on a side chain before settling back to the main Ethereum chain. Now, this essentially allows for much greater scalability for the applications that are implementing this technology. Now we're seeing DeFi applications have really two strong choices for their apps. They can either use optimistic rollups or ZK rollups. Both on testnet still, both optimistic and ZK on testnet still, but they're going to be coming to mainnet very, very soon. And while, of course, Curve is working with ZK rollups, we've seen other popular DeFi players like Synthetics working with optimistic rollups, so they're both good options. And obviously, these are just the native app integrations we're talking about. We're also seeing the rise of popular cryptocurrencies like XDAI and Matic. XDAI, for example, has recently brought in HoneySwap. So this is an app that's basically like Uniswap and allows for you to be able to swap different Ethereum-based assets, but really cheap and really fast in XDAI's Layer 2 environment. Personally, though, I'm more excited about Matic and their Layer 2 solution. I think they basically by far have the biggest DeFi and gaming system of any player at Layer 2 right now. And they have just got a very exciting new DeFi integration coming to their Layer 2 world, QuickSwap. Now, QuickSwap will allow for a Uniswap-like experience on the Matic network. So again, basically near zero cost in terms of gas fees paid. So anytime you need to do a swap, you're paying fractions of a penny instead of a few dollars. And of course, near instant settlement. The tokenomics of QuickSwap are also totally crazy. 95% of the tokens are going to be distributed to the community via liquidity mining, which opens up very, very soon. So if you do want to get in on that, then check it out. You'll be getting in on the ground floor in terms of being a farmer for that. Also, there's another DeFi application that I want to put on your radar. It's called Unilend. So they actually just finished their token sale application period anyway, so I'll have to do contributions later, but they're going through the application period right now. It was actually 300 times oversubscribed. That is just wild. Now, Unilend was actually a new addition to Wealth Mastery's hot new token sales to watch this week, so members already had that on their radar. Now, Unilend is a permissionless, decentralized protocol that combines spot trading functionality with lending and borrowing services all within the same platform. So yeah, it kind of sounds like your usual DeFi thing, right? But the thing that really stands out and makes Unilend interesting is that any user can list any ERC20 token on Unilend. So that allows not just for decentralized trading, but also for lending and borrowing for any Ethereum token. Now, this is absolutely huge in terms of its scope, because most DeFi players right now, it's kind of a walled garden. They decide what is or is not listed, and there's very few tokens that are actually listed. This is going to tap into liquidity for thousands of other tokens, at least hundreds of the high liquidity ones. The team is also exploring support for other blockchains, so we can really see this ecosystem expand out quite a bit. Now, if you did miss the sale, then there will be a liquidity mining event for this happening too, so watch out for that to happen. Or, of course, just watch for it to list on Uniswap and try and jump in then. This one's backed by some really big names and venture funds, and I think it's definitely one to watch out for when it does list. Okay, and the final big story of the day is that the stimulus bill in the United States, it could be back on the table, or it could not be back on the table. They can't really make their minds up what the heck they want to do, but the negotiations, they seem to still be ongoing. The president proposed a new $1.8 trillion stimulus package offer. The House Speaker rejected the offer, saying it doesn't go far enough. Lawmakers in the Senate are not super keen on it either, so yeah, back and forth and back and forth. Good news is that it's not totally closed the door to negotiations and that they are continuing. The bad news is that those negotiations are going nowhere fast, so there's that too. When we do get the next round of stimulus announced, and it will come, it's just a matter of when it's going to come, I would expect to see some good market action happening. But while we're stuck in this zone of uncertainty, the markets are going to stay, I think, on some shaky ground. So, that's a short-term catalyst, something to have on your radar. And there's just so much uncertainty right now, I think, short-term over the coming few weeks. There's the presidential elections. They're less than a month away, and there's a lot of uncertainty around that and how it might play out. Corona's still doing its thing, hasn't gone away. The markets are holding their breath. We'll wait to see if Congress will pump the markets or not. We need some money to come into the markets. They're starting to run on empty here, so we need that money to come in to pump the markets up, unfortunately. I'd love to say that Bitcoin is immune to the impact of the markets pumping or not, but 2020 has definitely shown us that there is a high correlation between Bitcoin and the stock markets, especially during periods of volatility. So let's hope that we actually continue to see strong support for the stock markets so that we can see support for the wider markets, which will help bring Bitcoin and all the altcoins up as well. Or that Bitcoin actually has this definitive breakaway moment and says, see you later, stock markets, not interested anymore, I'm going to go do my own thing. But until that happens, we must tread carefully in the short term, even if things are very, very exciting at the moment. So long-term moon, obviously, but something to keep in mind. Anyway, your question for today. Do you think that as we see more and more companies buying Bitcoin, that our fate will actually become even more linked to the stock markets, or will Bitcoin stage a breakout, totally disconnect from the stock markets in spite of companies buying more and more of it? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.